I want to play something that Elon Musk just said on some podcast just a couple of days ago that is shocking. Shocking.
We're in the singularity.
Well, we are in the singularity, for sure.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of it right now, for sure.
Yeah. I think we'll hit AGI next year in 26.
AGI is artificial general intelligence. That means the computer, the AI system, is smarter at everything than any human is. It is better at name the topic than the best human you can find.
Welcome to a world with AI. By the time you watch this, we may have already achieved AGI.
Welcome to a world with AI. Today, we are not talking about some distant sci-fi future. We're talking about a deadline, a moment in time that isn't decades away, but just a handful of years. An event horizon for artificial intelligence that's coming up way faster than you think.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some fringe prediction. You've got leaders from OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Anthropic, all pointing to roughly the same time frame. They're calling it the AGI Event Horizon, and they are telling us right now that we are already on the doorstep.
So to really get why this is all happening so fast, we first have to understand how the very idea of AI is changing. I mean, it's no longer just about how smart an AI is, it's about what it can actually do. Think about it.
Until now, AI has mostly been a talker, a really sophisticated chatbot, sure, but its real-world impact has been kind of limited. Well, now, we are entering the era of the doer, and this is a massive leap. We're going from an AI that saves you a few hours here and there to an AI that's an autonomous colleague, working for you all day, every day. An AI that doesn't just help you out, but actually directs its own team of AI agents to get entire projects done for you.
You see, this is the really crucial point. This isn't about one single machine becoming as smart as one human. It's about all of us suddenly getting access to a nearly infinite invisible workforce. I mean, imagine having the brainpower of an entire country of geniuses, all on demand, just sitting in a data center. That's the sheer scale of the change we're talking about here. So how on earth did we get here so fast? Well, there are two huge breakthroughs that are really pushing this incredible acceleration. And the first one, it's a concept that used to be pure science fiction, but now it's actually happening in the lab.
It's called Recursive Self-Improvement, or RSI. And to put it simply, it means AI is learning how to make itself smarter, all on its own, with no human in the loop. It's an AI that can literally rewrite its own programming to get better and more capable. And this creates an exponential feedback loop. So an AI modifies its own code, and boom, it gets smarter. But now that smarter version is even better at modifying its code, which makes it smarter still. You see where this is going? Each cycle is faster and more powerful than the last one, and it creates what a lot of people are calling an intelligence explosion. Now, the second big engine driving all this change is how long these AI doers can actually work by themselves. You know, tackling really complex, multi-step problems without a human having to hold their hand the whole way.
And this brings us to what are called long horizon agents. And the difference they make is it's profound. It's the difference between an AI that can answer one question for you versus an AI that can run an entire research project from start to finish while you're asleep.
And this acceleration isn't just a feeling. We can actually measure it. Some groundbreaking research from Meta shows that the doubling time for how complex a task these agents can handle has been shrinking like crazy. It dropped from 7 months down to just 3.5 months, and that pace is only getting faster. So this timeline, laid out by the venture firm Sequoia Capital, shows us exactly where this is all going. We go from agents today that can maybe handle a 30-minute task to agents in 2027 that can do a full day's worth of expert-level work. And in the future, well, an agent could eventually solve problems that would take a single human an entire century.
But, okay, what happens when this absolutely insane exponential technology curve smacks right into our, linear human-based economy? What happens when AI isn't just a helpful tool anymore, but a perfect substitute for human intelligence?
A pretty bombshell memo from the research firm Citrini recently modeled this exact scenario. And their thought experiment wasn't about what happens if AI fails. It was about what happens if it succeeds, beyond our wildest dreams, way faster than anyone is ready for.
The first thing they modeled was a sudden, massive shock to the job market.
And we're not talking about blue-collar jobs. This was about white-collar jobs, the kind of cognitive labor that's been the bedrock of our modern economy. Their model projected U.S. unemployment hitting 10.2% by mid-2028.
And that would be followed almost immediately by a historic market collapse. But here's the really crucial insight from the memo. The crash wouldn't happen because of weak corporate earnings. In fact, productivity would be going through the roof. No, the crash would come from a total collapse in human spending.
And this gets to the absolute core of the problem, a concept they called ghost GDP. See, AI creates all this immense value, right? All this productivity that shows up in the national accounts. But that value gets trapped. A GPU cluster in a data center doesn't buy groceries, it doesn't need a mortgage, and it definitely doesn't go on vacation. So you end up with this catastrophic negative feedback loop. Every single company makes the perfectly rational decision to adopt more AI to cut its costs and boost its margins. But when they all do it together, every dollar they save on human payroll is another dollar that gets pulled out of the consumer economy, which then forces more companies to cut more jobs.
The crisis then just spreads like wildfire to any business that's built on a human being in the middle. I mean, the skills that define millions of jobs, negotiating a real estate deal, advising on finances, processing insurance paperwork, all of that is done instantly and perfectly by AI. The memo basically argues that trillions of dollars in value, built on what they call friction with a friendly face, just evaporates.
So this is the collision course we're on, an exponential technology meeting a linear society. And it really leads us to what might be the most fundamental question of our entire future. You know, exploring the answers to this question, that's what this channel is all about. This isn't about being a pessimist or an optimist, it's just about being prepared. So if you want to understand the forces that are reshaping our world right now, make sure to like this explainer, share it with someone who really needs to see it, and of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you do not miss what comes next.
The code has been written. Subscribe to A World with AI before the loop closes.